Hey guys, welcome to week 2, day 1. So today we're going to start our stretching segment and we're going to go through total body just like we did in week 1 with our foam rolling. So first we worked on the fascia. We talked about the fascia connecting the entire body and how if something is stretched out, the fascia is stretched out, and the opposite side, the fascia would be really tight. So we had to loosen up the fascia on both sides, all over your body. Now we're gonna stretch out and start working on the muscles part of it. So we're gonna start with our foot and toe stretch. You're gonna come up to a wall or door, and I want you to place your foot on the floor and your toes up onto the wall, and you're going to square your hips off and push into it. So you're pushing just the toes up into the wall. Keep your hips rolled, shoulders back, even weight on you, and hold. So the balls of my feet are on the floor and my toes are up. I'm doing 1 foot at a time. Hold it and release. Other side. So again, just the toes up. That's gonna stretch all the way underneath your foot. So your toes are up, but it's stretching and pulling from all the way underneath your foot. Again, that's gonna help with the arches of your feet to hold yourself correctly if your feet are rolling in. It is also gonna help us with heels down. So we need that part of your foot to be stretched so your foot can get in proper position when you're in the saddle with your feet in the stirrups. All right, shake those toes out. Now we're gonna do the quads. So when you're in your pelvic tilt here, this is incorrect, where the water is tipping over, it lengthens your butt muscles. So they're too long and it shortens your quad muscles. So we wanna stretch those quads back out. Again, hold your door frame and you're gonna reach for your foot. And as you do this, I want you to roll your hips and you're gonna hold here. I also want your knees connected. So I don't want your opposite knee too far out. I want them touching right here. Rolling your hips, shoulders back. And I also want your hips square. So I don't want you leaning into it. I want you nice and square right here. If you're having a hard time reaching, you can get a towel to hold your foot. Gives you a little more leverage here. You can also lie down on the ground and grab 1 foot here. So this way you can kind of grab up on your shin, but again, keep your knees together. We're gonna go opposite side. Hold on to the wall, roll your hips, grab your foot, go through all your points again. Keep your hips rolled, keep your shoulders back, square off your hips. So make sure you're not pushing one hip out to help you balance. That's what the wall is for. Keep you nice and balanced here and breathe. So you feel that big pull on your quad. Couple good breaths and release. All right, now we're gonna work the piriformis. It's that small muscle on the outside of your hip. When you're in that pelvic tilt, your glutes tend to get weaker. So this little piriformis muscle tends to overtake, and it's a smaller muscle, so it starts to hurt a lot more. It takes more pressure from your huge glute muscle and it starts to do more work. Then it starts to get irritated and expand out, and that presses into the sciatic nerve. So a lot of times sciatic nerve pain comes from that piriformis pushing into it. So we're going to sit down, feet down, and you're going to cross one leg over. And now you want foot flexed, knee pushing down, and how far you can press your chest up just depends on how flexible it is. If this is even too much, lie on your back, keep your hips rolled, and then you can grab through the hole and grab the opposite leg. So find a point where you need to start. As you're here, make sure you're not leaning one way or the other. So you really want to pay attention to what your body's doing. Couple more good breaths and switch. I'm gonna start this one up again. See how it feels again each time. Each side's gonna feel different. So when you're sitting, you'll tend to wanna rock one way or the other a little more. So make sure your hips are nice and square and you're pushing up and your hips are rolled. And your foot is flexed, so heels down, toes up, just like in the saddle. That helps protect your knee. Again, if you need to, lie on your back. Another option that you can do is go on the wall. You can put one foot on the wall and press here. That'll help kind of square your hips off, keep that flexed. So change it up depending on the day. All right, so now we're gonna do low back stretch. So these muscles right down here. What happens when you're in this position? These muscles tighten up. And when we need to be in a saddle, those need to be longer so you can be straight up and down and your core can be engaged. So here, they're nice and short. We don't want that. We want to lengthen them back out. So also if you hold stress in your lower back, this is a really good one for you. Very simple. You're rolling your hips again, pulling your knees into your chest. As you do this, don't hold stress up into your shoulder. Relax them down, hold them here. You can grab behind the knees, find where it's comfortable. If your legs need to be out more, in more, find the spot. We're trying to stretch that whole lower back down. Another thing I like to do, if you have a ball, you can put it underneath, hold, you can balance wherever you want to be, but it kind of helps extend you up and you can push into a little more, stretches you a tiny bit more. Couple more seconds here. Again, the ball's not necessary, it just takes it up a little level. All right. Release the ball. All right, so now we're gonna go into our hip flexors. So we just talked about back getting short. What also happens is your hip flexors get short. So they have shortened up, and that's why you're in this pelvic tilt area. When you're in the saddle, you're here, you're leaning forward, your knees are squeezing, you're ready for a projectile almost. We want to be able to naturally get ourselves back where it's not a force. So if we get nervous, horse starts to do anything, we're already here where we can roll a little deeper if we need to. So we really want to get those hip flexors lengthened back out. I'm going to take my towel now and I'm going to fold it up just for my knee. I'm going to place my towel under my knee. My back foot is down, front foot comes up. So as you're here, square up your hips. And now I'm going to roll my hips. Automatically, you should feel that hip flexors start to stretch. Then you can lean a tiny bit, but it's not a big movement. As I'm doing this, I'm almost pulling back with this foot in the front. I'm pulling back, and I want you to squeeze and engage your glute. That's the opposite point of it. Engage here will stretch a little more of your hip flexor. Lengthen out. You can take your hands and you can roll your upper back if you can. Couple deep breaths. If you're feeling kind of comfortable here, you can test yourself and see if you can take the opposite arm and pull it up without letting your lower back give. Come out of it. Press in one more time. I'm pulling back with this front foot, squeezing my glute. Switch it. All right, same thing. Back foot is down, front foot comes forward, automatically square up your hips. So it's gonna wanna naturally, the leg that's down, that hip's gonna wanna drop. Square them up. Now, roll your hips, push forward into it, pull back with the opposite foot. So this knee, the foot is trying to pull the ground towards me. This glute is activated, that's on the ground. So I'm trying to squeeze that glute and I'm leaning forward with my hips rolled. Pull your shoulders back so your core is helping stabilize you. And then if you can, raise that arm without giving in that lower back. Come out of it, roll, press into it. So a lot of times people try to do this stretch and they go right here. This is just exacerbating that problem of that lower back. So it's not a huge movement that you have to do. We're just trying to stretch those hip flexors out little by little. Raise that hand, squeeze this opposite glute, the one that's on the ground. The hip flexor you're stretching out, it's the same side. And down. All right, now let's go a little bit higher. We're gonna go into our chest. So we're gonna go back into the wall. So if you have the rounded shoulders, your chest gets tight. So we wanna stretch those out. My hand's gonna go into the door, and I'm gonna take that same foot and step forward. So I'm gonna square off my hips, look down at my feet, make sure they're straight. We don't want one turning out. We wanna be nice and straight. Square our hips off. Take your hand low to the door. You can see it back here. And I'm gonna roll my hips and press into it. I don't wanna lean my hip into the wall. I wanna press forward. So this arm can come forward wherever you need to be to balance it. My heel is slightly off the ground in the back, but my hips are staying tucked. So I'm not letting my lower back do the stretching for me. I'm making my chest take it. Come out of it, press in one more time. Square off your shoulders, don't let yourself twist into the wall. Shake it out and switch. So again, same foot on the wall is in front, pressing into it. Don't let yourself twist too much. Find where you need to be. Come out of it, press into it. Don't let those shoulders roll, pull them back. You can also do this on your roller if you have it. You would just press down into it, which stretch it out. So find which one gives you the best stretch, but keep those hips rolled. You can do it on a chair or table or whatever you need to get a different angle to it. Now we're gonna work on your neck extension. So we're gonna work these muscles back here. So if you were a person that had a very forward head and had to really bring it out and then your eyesight was looking up more, we wanna stretch these extensors back. This is also good for people that have headaches, things like that, hold tension up. So we roll your hips, pull your shoulders back, look down, and pull slightly. So you're just resting your hands on the back of your neck. It doesn't feel like much, but you can still feel the stretch going all the way down, right back here. And remember, everything is connected. So you have your traps back there. We're working our neck extensors. Come out of it, go back in it. Keep your hips rolled at all times. All right, our last one is gonna be with a chair. And we're going to stretch your traps. So again, right up here, you're gonna sit nice and square in the chair. You're gonna grab the bottom of the chair with one, and you're gonna pull. So you're trying to get out of the chair, but your arm is holding you down. So I don't want you shrugging the shoulder up. I want you trying to pull your body out of the chair, so it's pulling it down. Now I want you to look to the side, pull your shoulder back and down. Make sure it's not trying to roll forward on you. So take your fingers, see if you can press it back. Look to the side. Now look down to the side, and you can even take your hand and give a tiny little pull. Come out of it, shake it one more time. Pull your chest up, shoulder back and down, to the side and down, slight pull. All right, switch sides. Again, we've locked our hands on, our hips are rolled. I'm trying to lift my body out of the chair. Make sure your shoulder's back. Look to the side, so this part of my neck is a little tighter. Look down. If you need to, give it a slight pull. So I'm just adding a little weight to it. Don't let that shoulder roll forward. Come out of it. Pull my body up, pop my chest a little bit, keep my hips rolled. Go through all your checkpoints. Good, couple good breaths. Don't let that lower back arch as you're pulling up. Good, and relax, shake it out. So again, go through some of these exercises. You can do some of these at the office. You can do them as you're watching TV at home. Find times to just give yourself a little stretch just so things don't stay tight. Every 30 minutes or so at work, try to do a little stretch, even if it's something simple. You can be sitting on a chair. You can just stand and stretch a quad. Whatever you need to do, stretch your body out a little bit here and there, and it'll make a world of difference in your riding. So I will see you soon. Bye.